Welcome to Simple Wonders, where I help you simplify home education so you can work wonders in your home. I'm Jessica, a homeschooling mom of 4 boys, here to guide you through the first steps of starting your homeschool journey. In this series, you'll learn how to get started, what you actually need to homeschool, and you'll develop real teaching skills, even if you've never taught a day in your life. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. Let's get started. Hello everyone, this is Jessica, and you're probably going to notice that this video both sounds and looks different than the others, and that is because I made a batch of about 3 or 4 of the How to Homeschool series before I left on a family vacation, and as I was posting number 3 for this week, I realized that I was missing a lot of it. There is a lot of mistakes that happen in recording when I have a lot of kids coming in and my husband coming in, and so I just missed half of what was supposed to be for this week. So this week, besides what I'm going to talk about in the rest of this video, I'm going to talk about how to make a mission statement, a family mission statement, and then how to get started doing family counsel every week along with individual interviews. So those are an important part of this week to set a firm foundation before you start homeschooling, not just for homeschool, but for a well-oiled running family life. So I put all of this information in a blog post that you can check out. The link will be in the description. And so enjoy the rest of this video and on how to start a house cleaning routine and how to institute rest weeks before you start your homeschool in the fall. Let's go into week 3. Let's talk about managing a household and the logistics behind it. So one thing that really helps that you need to get done is to delegate, to split up the workload. You cannot possibly do all the laundry, all the cooking, the dishes, and everything that is asked of you as a mom that you were maybe doing while your kids were at school. That's not going to happen anymore. I highly recommend sitting your family down, your husband, your kids, and just telling them, look, a lot of my time will be spent preparing and teaching you. And so I'm not going to have as much time to do the majority of the cooking, cleaning, and laundry if you've been doing the majority of it to this point. They're going to need to pick it up. So you could list all the things that need to get done or the things that you do, and you could delegate that. What my family does is the main living area that we're in, we have 3 floors, a basement, the main living area, and then the upstairs with bedrooms. The main living area, we split into zones. So this room or this area is for one kid to tidy up at the end of the day, this zone for this kid, and a zone for this kid, and each zone has its own daily chore. So this room, the living room, has laundry, so you need to do 1 load of laundry a day. And the dining room is dishes, because it just naturally, you clean off the table, take the dishes to the sink, you do the dishes. And then cooking is another one. Now, if they're little, they don't do these alone. They're doing it with me, but I am teaching them how to load and unload the dishes. I'm teaching them how to gather up the laundry, put it in, start it, change it, fold it, put it away. And then I'm teaching them how to cook. Now, my oldest is able to do these all independently. He needs a reminder, but he will go do them all on his own. And it has been so helpful for me as a mom. I have much more time to focus on teaching, and I have much more time to myself. Now, it takes the boys probably 15 minutes to clean their zone. It takes them 15 to 20 minutes to do their job. They're spending less than an hour helping around the house, but it saves me almost 3 hours, it could be, of my time just doing stuff every day. And if you want to see more about how this works and I can explain it in detail and show you, I've taken some videos of me and my kids doing it. I have a whole video on how I teach my kids to clean without rewards, and I'll link that in the description below. Another thing that you can do to help ease up your burden of housework and cooking and teaching is to have a rest week. This is called Sabbath style homeschooling, where you do 6 weeks of school and then 1 week off, and then you just have a shorter summer, or you don't have a shorter summer, you just do it, and your kids are learning during that rest week anyway. So I'll give you an example. So we do 6 weeks of just regular school, but during that 7th week, we take a break. We aren't doing full school subjects. We may have books that my kids will read. They may do some Khan Academy on the computer, but we're not sitting down and doing the full feast of subjects. Instead, we are doing a deep clean of a certain room or zone in the house. So if it's closets, we're taking everything out of the closet, we're throwing away broken things, donating stuff we don't need, cleaning, dusting it, and then putting everything back in. Or it might be the kitchen. We're taking everything out and vacuuming out the drawers and the cupboards. We're washing them. We're cleaning out the fridge. That might be something we do during rest week. It only really takes a day or two. Then we are also batch cooking, because I don't know how I could get homemade meals on the table every night if I didn't do batch cooking and freezer meals. Now, what I have found is the best way to do freezer meals is I'll make a huge pot of soup or curry or whatever does really well in the freezer. Those things happen to be really good in the freezer. Or I might do a whole batch of the meat part of shepherd's pie and freeze them in small casserole, like square casserole dishes with lids, put them in the freezer. Then all I have to do is make potatoes to put on top and put them in the oven. I'll make a lot of those. I'll fill up our deep chest freezer, and then I just take out 3 or 4 meals at the beginning of the week so they're in the fridge thawing. Then I cook them or warm them up in the case of soup. I don't like to put the ingredients in a Pyrex that I have to then thaw and then put in an Instant Pot or a slow cooker to cook throughout the day. I would rather it just be pre-cooked and I just have to warm it up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock. So we do that during rest week. It's super helpful. You can do so much prep. You can cook a lot of bread. You could cook rolls. You could cook soup, curry. If you can't freeze the entire meal, then think about freezing something. If you're making enchiladas, you don't like frozen enchiladas, you could freeze the filling in glass Pyrex and then thaw that, and then it's ready to put in tortillas, pour the sauce on it, and put it in the oven. Think about how you can streamline this process and get as much done for that meal beforehand, or prep done, and freeze that so that the meals are going to be a lot easier to get on the table. So we do that during prep week, and sometimes we just need some time to bond, because like I talked about in the other videos, when you are asking your children to do math, to do this, to clean and to help around the house more, you're having a lot of demands. You're putting a lot of demands on your child. You're making withdrawals from their love bank. And so the rest week could be a time to fill up those love tanks or those love accounts, and doing fun things together, playing games together, going on adventures and field trips, vacations, just enjoying life and living it. And you may think, I don't know if I could do that. They're not doing school. How can I say that they are? Now, they are doing school. If you are doing batch cooking, have your student that's doing fractions, have them multiply fractions by tripling or quadrupling a recipe. If you're gardening, we do that during prep week during the spring, and if we're putting a new bed out, then I have my child measure and find the perimeter, the amount of boards we need. I might have my one child find the volume of dirt we're going to need to fill up our square bed. Or we're doing a lot of biology with planting seeds, figuring out when we need to plant them so that they're ready to transplant. There's so many real life projects that you can bring in as kind of a project for school. 6 weeks of book work, reading books, doing math problems, and then a week of applying those problems in real life situations, or those principles, those skills, whatever it is that you've been learning. I use those and apply them during our rest week. So your homework for this week is to set up a house cleaning schedule, or divide up the responsibilities so it takes a little off of you. You could follow the same thing that I have done with my family, with zones and with chores. You could do something different if your children are younger or older. Bring your husband into the mix as well. Especially if he works from home, he's going to be able to help more than if he's commuting to work every day. So figure out what that is, set up a schedule, and start that this week. I also recommend setting up rest weeks, looking at when you want to start school, counting out 6 weeks, and then adding that rest week, and figuring out what those are and putting them on your calendar. Rest week is a wonderful, wonderful thing that has made a huge difference in my homeschool. And no, I have not noticed any difference in my child's learning because they have a week to rest. In fact, I would say that it has helped my children's education and my sanity more than anything else. And I feel like they are more advanced in their studies and more mature because of the time that we take off to live our life. Well, that is all I have for you for week 3. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified when all the rest come out.